Division X.
And you're watching Visual Caffeine.
You heard?
Peace and bliss, another episode of Visual Caffeine. Thank you for watching. First of all, let's get this out the way. We want to dedicate this episode to Jay Dilla. It's his anniversary this February, so we'd like to give a shout out to Ma Dukes, the donut shop. You know, Jay Dilla, go look it out. But right now we have Division X in the crib.
Yes.
Straight from the Bronx. I've known North for years. I'm glad I met these other two brothers, and we're giving you the real hip hop, yo. And I'm going to ask him some questions and, you know, then get on to the music because that's what you really tune in for, not to hear me. So here we go. Where's the name Division X come from?
Oh, wow. North, man, you want to start that one?
Well, the name Division X symbolizes, like, a sports league, basically. Like, when you think about, like, football and all these other sports, they break them up into divisions. So the New York City is broken up into certain divisions, Brooklyn, Bronx, whatever. And we said Division X, meaning the Bronx. And so it's just a slick way of saying the boys from the Bronx, and we divide to multiply.
I want you to know that it makes me, that it makes me, that it makes me, it makes me feel, it makes me feel, it makes me feel alright.
There ain't nothing like hip-hop music. There ain't nothing like hip-hop music. There ain't nothing like hip-hop music. There ain't nothing like, there ain't nothing like, there ain't nothing like hip-hop music. There ain't nothing like hip-hop music. There ain't nothing like hip-hop music. One, two, three, cut. Libertad, libertad, freedom for my people, I say libertad, libertad, libre Puerto Rico, I say libertad, libertad, freedom for my people, I say libertad, 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 libertad. Let's go. 1, 2, Division X.
What? Yo, Drew, can you hear me?
Brother North, Dr. Dust, 88. I take aim at the shadows and let loose my ammo. The sound of my barrel makes the turntables rattle. I'm like a gun slinging cowboy in the saddle. Like warfare, every day is a battle. Navigating waters on the boat with no paddle. Tenement scars from my life, a hard scrabble. The strength of a god, I'm an army of pharaohs. The life is so raw and I can't change the channel. The story of a tribe with a complicated essence. School of hard knocks, we done mastered the lesson. Flirting with death like it was our profession, but still feel affected when it comes unexpected. Back the hood leaves a mark till our soul hits the gravel. Born to intellect, but our views ain't narrow. Pounding on drums like a judge with a gavel. Singing little song like a war-torn sparrow. The sound of the grind, the sound of the gritty, the sound of the hood heartbeat of the city, the sound of a life that ain't never been pretty. Surviving on pride, so save all your pity. The sound of the grind, the sound of the gritty, the sound of the hood heartbeat of the city, the sound of a life that ain't never been pretty. Surviving on pride, so save all your pity.
You guys, you know, do the real hip hop, which includes, like, you know, mentoring and social work. The saying is, rap is something you do, hip hop is something you live. How important is, you know, mentoring the youth and helping them out with their problems to the culture of hip hop and to the culture of our people?
Oh man, that's very important, man. You know, I mean, when you think about hip hop, man, you know, pretty much, man, I always think about the revolution that was going on when hip hop first started. So it's the same thing. A lot, you know, hip hop was started by young folks who were creative, you know, needed something to do. So now when you mix that with the mentoring piece and the youth that's actually from these hoods, you know, from these neighborhoods, you know, a lot of these kids, you know, they have the talent and they have a lot of issues, but those issues are their strengths. So
Right.
that's, so a lot of times that's what as a social worker, actually, I'm a social worker, by the way.
Word.
So those are the things that I always trying to implement into these young lives, for them to bring out their creativity, to have a voice, and to share their stories, to share what their struggles, whatever it is, and to put into poetry, music, whatever it is, but to express themselves, which is very important.
For me, hip hop was my after school program. Like before hip hop was in after school programs like they are now, it was my after school program. It kept me out of the streets. It kept me out from doing things that other people were doing that some people would call negative, and basically kept me with my head straight instead of being outside, getting into like all kinds of drug sales and all that neighborhood knucklehead stuff. I was basically upstairs trying to learn how to rap, how to DJ and all of that stuff, and it occupied my time so much that I didn't have time to do all that other knucklehead shit. Like, so I was blessed with hip hop as being my mentoring program, basically.
Word. And that's what hip hop is really about, man. It's about, taking care of the community. It's not about what car you drive or anything like that. It's about yourself, Shout out to Guerrilla Republic, by the way.
Yes.
Shout out. What about you, brother? You're a DJ and all that.
Right.
When'd you start DJing?
I started DJing when I was 16.
60. How old are you now? If I
Yeah,
can
I'm 32.
ask? Wow. Okay.
32.
So you're a vet.
A little bit. That's a little bit. Once again, hip hop something you do, and DJing
Right.
something.
You
Hip hop something I live, but DJing something that I do.
Okay.
And sometimes in life,
Mhm.
you're stopped to doing what you
Right.
would love to do. So I came back into DJing probably like 2 years ago.
Okay.
What I love about DJing is that it's really one of the elements of hip hop,
Mhm.
and I think it was either Stretch or Bobbito spoke on that,
Mhm.
is really important. It's not in the 4 original pillars, but it's like discovery. You get
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
discover new music. You get to discover
one of the elements of hip hop is actually knowledge.
Exactly.
That's the fifth and most important element. So you're on the right path, brother, because you're the youngest on this dais, let's say.
Right.
But have these, these cats are older by year. Have they helped you out in terms of
definitely,
keeping you on that straight and narrow?
definitely.
And that's what hip hop is, right?
Yeah.
Right, man.
We got it.
The incredible thing is he's helped us stay on the straight and narrow with certain things because it's reciprocal, man. Like, the youth teach the elders teach the youth, and that's how we keep the whole thing going. Because as like this brother brought me in, and we do a podcast together, and
Yes.
like we have such great political talks. And these are things that I learned from him, and we learn from each other in all kinds of different ways.
Where can we find that podcast?
You can find that podcast anywhere where podcasts are being streamed. You can look it up on Spotify, Apple Music.
What's the name of it?
Rebels Without a Pause. Like we
Ooh.
named it after the Public Enemy song.
Of course, yeah.
Public Enemy is very much an inspiration to both North and myself.
Mhm.
Chuck D, such an important like figure in hip hop when you're speaking
doubt.
about politics and just political consciousness and spiritual consciousness in the Black and Brown community.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, without Public Enemy, where would we be?
For real life, Chuck D is like is like the super big brother that I'd never had. Like when I look at my life, like I have certain mentors, and Chuck D is the person that I just actually never met. This brother, like to your right, he's a extreme mentor to me, and like he's like an older brother to me, and he's taught me some things, and he only got me by a couple of years, but the things that he has seen and gone through, and the work that he does, like all of that rubs off on me, and like that's how like kind of like Division X comes together when it comes to like the lyrics and the music. A lot of the inspiration comes from the gentleman to the right as far as the life that he lived, and we sit down and we soak up the energy and soak up the conversations and some of the things that he's going through and some of the things that he does as a social worker, and all of that comes out in the music.
Wow, that's incredible. So where do you do your social work at, if I could ask?
Oh, man, well, I'm a psychotherapist at an agency in Mount Vernon.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for a while. I graduated 2000 with my master's degree, and right after that I started, just getting my feet wet into the community work. I ran after-school programs, directed after-school programs. I mean,
That's what's up.
Even worked in jails.
That's what's up.
I broke a lot of barriers, actually, man.
Yeah.
I was in prison, did a lot of time, and I was able to work for the city and state.
Word.
So those are the things, that really make me who I am. It's not just what I've been through, it's actually how I overcame them. And that's why sometimes that's what when I work with my youth and anybody that I work with, that's what I try to implement in them. That they're their best project, and that they're capable of doing whatever it is that they want to do.
Word, that's what's up. A lot of people, they talk smack, but overcoming the negative to the positive is one of the lessons of hip hop. One of the first ones. This brother right here is that he's actually a living lesson right here. You know what I'm saying? And that's hip hop. I mean, there's not much more I could say than that.
Like Dust, like his life, like I said, is like the inspiration and the backbone for Division X. Like, and you take the first two songs that we performed, Warfare, like his life was warfare. The second song is called Joy, and the premise of that is we're going to talk about like how we're not letting these times and the elements and the things that we grow up around steal our joy, and it's about having like a healthy mental health, which is something that he deals with on a consistent basis. When he does his therapy sessions, he does a lot of things when it comes to people's mental health, so we take all of those things and we put it into the music. And like The Boys from the Bronx is another, and Celebration is another song that we did, because the one thing that Dust always does is that he keeps it fun. It might be heavy, but he keeps it fun, and that's like from the original aspect of Zulu Nation and hip hop and peace, unity, love, and having fun. So we try to like respect those pillars and try to like update it. Right. It's like we don't want to get stuck in like what happened in 1970 whatever, 80 whatever, 90 whatever, 2000 whatever. It's always about moving it forward, but also still bringing back and bringing forward the ancestors and the ancestors' ways and keeping it fresh and relevant.
Yes. We represent black excellence.
That's right.
All around the world.
Beautiful.
Let me tell you one thing. We're
So beautiful.
damn right we are. So
beautiful.
That's right. We are so beautiful. So beautiful.
Beautiful.
we are so beautiful.
That's right.
Yes,
We are
so beautiful.
That's right.
Yes,
We are.
we're beautiful. Yes, beautiful. So beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Hey yo, I roll with hood scholars who ain't never heard of Plato. Human tornadoes, volcanoes that are fatal. Clipped off wings or broken down halo. Never seen the sun. We built our own rainbow. Lords of the jungle, so we show the proper decency. Constantly ignored. We turned up the frequency. Mastering the art of will and necessity. Something out of nothing. A hood brother specialty. Year after year, we get knocked on our rear, but we buck Mother Nature, make the clouds disappear. Scared money stay broke. There's no time to fear. Make the best lemonade from the sugar in our tears. At war with the odds.
What?
To the days of our youth. Every breath of success is a triumph of the truth. With a hood, redwoods that were cut at its roots in the middle of the desert, still bore fruit. So beautiful.
That's right. We are
So beautiful.
That's right.
We are so beautiful. Yes, beautiful.
so
Beautiful. Yes, beautiful. We're beautiful.
That's right. We are
So beautiful.
That's right.
We are so beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Hey, yo, the book of our lives, a painful collage. We keep illuminating like the midnight stars.
Yes.
See the face in the mirror, a reflection of God. Looking oh so perfect with my permanent scars. Still runaway slaves, cause the rules get changed in the middle of the game. So results stay the same. See the hood makes a man act wild and untamed. They make a surf tidal waves with a foot in the grave.
Say what?
Blueprint masters with the laws of innovation. Nothing like hunger to feed your inspiration. Years of frustration, please determination. Have not power, you can smell the desperation. Monsoon
Say
moments,
what?
we surf that tide. Look the storm in the eye, survive genocide. We're better rock solid, can't take our pride. We just keep on watching, won't break our stride. So beautiful.
That's right. We are
So beautiful.
That's right.
We are so beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Yes, beautiful. We're beautiful.
That's right. We are
So beautiful.
That's right.
We are so beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Yes, beautiful. From the very first breath, they expected us to fail. We rewrote the story of that tragic little tale.
Word.
Put winds to our sail, left a blistering trail. All this weather in the storm made a rusty little nail. From arrival, our survival had to balance on the scale. Sidestepping when we trapped in this open air jail.
What?
Heard the cemetery calling, had to excel, had to reach for the heavens. We already knew hell. Came up from the chains, came up from the whips, came up from the grips of the evil slave ships. Penitentiary, steel, and they sugarcane fields. Rose up like a man with the devil on his heel. Rose up like a man with boots full of mud. Had to fight off the sharks with a taste for the grudge. Our weapon of choice, a bomb called love. Soaring high in the sky like an eagle in our blood. Damn right we are so beautiful.
That's right.
We are so beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Yes, beautiful. So beautiful.
That's
Damn
right, we are
so beautiful.
That's right. We are
So beautiful, so beautiful. We're beautiful, so beautiful. Oh, chill.
Yes.
1, 2.
Come on.
We get our two-step on. We get our two-step on from right to left and left to right. Now if you're feeling all right tonight, let me hear you say hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now if you're feeling all right tonight, let me hear you say fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yo, I feel good.
I feel good.
Hey, yo, I feel good.
Yes, I feel good.
Yo, I feel good.
I feel good.
I hope you feel good. I hope y'all feel good. I said I feel good.
I feel good.
Yeah, I feel good.
I feel good.
Yo, I feel good.
I feel good.
I hope you feel good. I hope. Let's do it. Hit it. We get our two-step on. From right to left, from left to right. Come on, right to left, from left to right, from right to left. Now if you're feeling all right tonight, 88 say hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And if you're feeling all right tonight, Dr. Dust say fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Say I feel good.
I feel good.
I say I feel good.
I feel good.
Yo, I feel good.
Yo, I feel good.
I hope you feel good. I hope y'all feel good. I said I feel good.
I feel good.
Yeah, I feel good.
I feel good.
Yo, I feel good.
I feel good.
I hope y'all feel good. Connected to the bright side, this is joy in the middle of a tyranny. Sheer illumination just projecting my divinity. Vagabond spirit with a world shine pedigree. Miracles reflection with the children of that energy. Prophecy projected, shake the future like an architect. Universal language, that's the rhythm of my dialect. Jubilant reaction, leaving traces of my whereabouts. Guilty, I'm convicted, cause my name reflects the paramount. Marching in the battle with the grace of a pharaoh. Put a flame on the arrow just to light up the shadows. Many snakes try to rattle, try to send me to the gallows. But I climbed out the barrel, singing songs like a sparrow. I'm a vessel for a spirit that can never be destroyed. I was looking for a savior, had to fill my own void. Hit that hum of defiance, it's a righteous noise. It's the jubilant sound that we call black joy, black joy. And I feel good.
Yes, I feel good.
Yes, I feel good.
Yes, I feel good.
Yo, I feel good. I hope y'all feel good. I hope y'all feel good. I said I feel good.
I feel good.
Yeah, I feel good.
I feel good.
Yo, I feel good.
Yo, I feel good.
I hope y'all feel good. I hope you feel good.
Come on.
Huh. I feel it now. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it now. Yes, I feel it now. Yes, I just pushing through this
everyday struggle.
push. We keep on pushing, pushing every single day. We keep on pushing, pushing every single day. We keep on pushing, pushing every single day. We keep on pushing. The story of the have-nots, cornered off, running cycles in a vortex. Concrete jungles bringing lions to my doorstep. Sorcery is lurking, try to keep me from my apex. Ghetto habitation, got to exercise and patience. I can hear the voices, the call of negativity. Love vibration, cause I'm on a different frequency. Never been a chapter in some predetermined history. Only thing written is you write your own destiny. Blind tunnel vision as I struggle through the rubble. I soldier torture light at the end of the tunnel. The path many stumble, cause the best of us tumble. But you ride and you rumble, that's the law of the jungle. False spider worship, got it falling in a spell.
Say what?
Mirages in the desert, there's poison in the well.
Yes.
Listen to the siren, it's the devil ringing bells. So I hit the ground running like I'm breaking out of hell. Push. 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 Push.
We do this everyday struggle.
Push. 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 Push.
We do this everyday struggle.
Time is never still, so the blood only spills. Land of milk and honey, better get your fill. I ain't come to climb mountains just to fall down the hill. With a tombstone saying that he lived to pay bills.
Say what?
Seeking better days, to the flowers on my grave.
That's
Every
right.
breath is a chapter on an unwritten page. Page to find this an ink, there's a legend to be made. Either fight to the finish or you die like a slave. I was born with some shackles in my neck in a rope, so I ain't apologizing for the way that I approach. Unbreakable spirit, he's a testament to hope. I see greatness approaching, I grab it by the throat, throw the dust till the ashes. We return to the start. In between is your actions that illuminate the dark. Use love as your ammo in a bulletproof heart. Aim high, my beloveds, leave your ancestors mark. Push, 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 everyday struggle. Push, 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 everyday struggle. Hey, yo, we rock up on your radio. Division X, we come and mash up your stereo. We speak the truth, but when we rock up on the radio, Division X, you know we mash up your stereo. Mash them up. I said we rock up on your radio. What? Division X, we come and mash up your stereo. We speak the truth, but when we rock up on the radio, Division X, yo, we mash up your stereo. Yes. Mash them up. Yes.
Where can people find you? What you still performing, you know, in front of crowds and stuff, and rock the stage? And what is that like to you guys?
Well, the first thing you can find Division X is Division X Music on Instagram. We tell everybody go there. Okay. That's to keep things easy. Division X Music on Instagram. Now, So Marcos 88, you can find him in his own thing, and Dust, you can find him in his own thing. You can find me on my own thing. But as far as the music is concerned, Division X Music on Instagram.
Well, give your individual accounts, because somebody out there might see this and want to talk to you brothers, or, you know, get in contact with you guys. So I'll start with you, and then we'll go.
North of Division X on Instagram.
DJ Dr. Dust, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Soul Marcos Productions.
That's what's up.
That you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Soul Marcos Productions.
Who does your beats, by the way? You?
I do a good portion of it. Other people have given us, given us beats before. It's always open for any producer to contribute. We work with whoever we can. A lot of times I'll start something off, and then I'll bring it to the lab, and then Dust will put the finishing touches on it, and then we just take it from there.
Word. And, you know, you guys remind me of, like, it's just crazy. Y'all bring it back. Like, you know, you were saying in parties in the park and stuff, one of the main things they did was, you know, people won't listen to speeches if you don't put music behind it. So they put Malcolm X, the Martin Luther King speeches over the music, and that's what you all remind me of.
Wow.
You know, what's incredible about that is, so Marcos is a DJ at an event at the Justice Center here in New York City, okay. And they gave him like a 5-minute spotlight, and he made this incredible mix with a Malcolm X speech with some new production that I'm trying to figure out what that beat was. We're gonna talk about that later, but like, and it was mesmerizing because like it just hushed the crowd and everybody just was listening, and I've never actually seen that like a speech behind the beat, where people, instead of dancing, they just stopped what they were doing and were listening. So it's incredible that you brought that up.
That was one of the main things that, you know, I learned from the icons in the Bronx. They told me that, and I was like, that's smart. They won't listen unless it has a beat behind it, that's right. And that's what y'all are doing. You know, Public Enemy, KRS. I mean, there's a lot of cats, but y'all do it here now and in the present, and, you know, and New York needs that. New York really. What do you guys think about New York hip hop right now? Like, are you into the stuff that's out now? Like, you work with the youth, so you're not going to be like, oh, that stuff is trash. Do you bring that in, incorporate that into your work, or?
Oh, definitely. Listen, pretty much a lot of young folks, I have expressed myself. I have showed our music to young folks. They love it. So, you know, so I'm trying to bridge the gap between, you know, all the type of genres of hip hop. You know, right now I'm not too proud of what hip hop is doing right now, to be honest. But I like what's going on because the young people are enjoying it. You know, so I remember when I was young, there was older folks who didn't like what we were doing. Yeah. You know, so it just goes with the time. It just goes with the with time. But I always do my best to bridge that gap. You know, because that's needed right now. The elders need to, you know, be talking to the young folks, and the young folks need to be talking to the older folks, just so that we could bridge the gap, so that we could share our knowledge and our knowledge base.
Right. I experienced that in New Jersey. We did a jam at NJIT for a group of kids, summer camp, and we put on, you know, Apache and the break beats and stuff, and they stopped talking. They were like, "What's that?" And we're like, "That came out in 1970, whatever." And they're like, "No, it didn't." And the thing is, they want to force the stuff that's out, the commercial stuff, on kids, saying that they're not going to listen to this and that. But if they're exposed to it,
that's right. At
the same place, a 15-year-old kid asked me, when's the next Trap Called Quest album coming out? And I was like, I almost started crying.
Wow.
Tell you the truth, I was like, what? And I said, I'm not down with them, so I can't tell you. But just the fact that he knew about it, someone exposed him to it.
Well, as far as like the youth and how I feel about what's hip hop is doing right now, there's always a saying that hip hop is a reflection of the times, and whatever's going on in the music aspect of hip hop is usually a reflection of what young people are going through. So for us to run around and shun it, we're shunning our kids. We're neglecting our kids. There's some music I like. There's some music I don't like. But you want to know something? When I was a little kid and the Pee Wee Herman was out, and that was a ridiculous song. I didn't think it was ridiculous because I was doing it. So then when the kids came up a little later and they were doing Lean with it, Rock with it, and they would and the other kids was doing Soulja Boy and all of that stuff. And to the adults, you know, we're like, yeah, that's silly, but that's for kids.
Right.
And we got to understand that hip hop is now almost 50 years old. So there's going to be elder hip hop, music for the elders, or music for people who have a grown mentality, because sometimes 20-year-olds are elders before they need to be. And there's going to be music that's going to be for kids. And we got to respect that. And the kids are going to like their kiddie stuff, and, you know, and they'll grow up and they'll probably hate the fact that they used to like and dance the Gangnam Style back in the day, because that's what happens.
Right.
It's like, well, you know, you was 12, you was dancing the Gangnam Style, you get to 20 and you're like, oh man, don't show me videos of that.
Right.
So it's like, it just keeps going. If you don't like the music that's coming up, maybe it wasn't meant for you.
Right.
So, you know, I'm called what you call the middle child, according to J. Cole. I'm right in between, like, you know, the generation that, you know, that really would pioneered it, and the younger generation. I would say that New York hip hop, to hop on North's point, is a representation of what's going on today.
Right.
First off, there's mass gentrification in New York City.
No
So
doubt.
a lot of people are leaving the city, but a lot of that also leaves open a lot of influence from
Right.
other regions, specifically the South
True.
and Chicago.
So you saying that the hip hop now is gentrified hip hop? Is that what is that what you leaning towards, brother?
It's a little bit like you don't hear the classic New York sound.
Right.
What's the classic New York sound? If you really study the culture, there's a lot of jazz influence. If you listen to like some of my favorite producers like DITC,
Oh, please.
you got you know, Pete Rock, Primo,
Yes.
Dilla, you know, all those
Q-Tip.
guys,
Yeah,
Q-Tip,
Yeah.
even Bomb Squad.
Right.
Like, if you really listen, but also that has to do with also how the music industry has changed.
True.
And how like they just been going after artists who sample. So now that it's harder to sample,
Right.
you know, there's guys that still do it today. Like you have the Alchemists, you
Right.
have the Static Selectors, and
Yeah,
those
right.
guys and Marco Polos of the world. But the music industry, they don't want to support guys who do that type of music.
Right. Because it takes money out of their pocket.
Exactly.
That's
It's
the only
expensive.
reason. Yeah.
It's expensive.
To piggyback on his point of gentrification, it's like, you know, so many people have left New York and they live in Atlanta, Georgia. They live in Charlotte. They live in Florida, Kissimmee. Like, you know, all these people have left New York.
Right.
And who's come to New York? People from other regions.
Right.
So those people are here and they're trying to make their dreams happen, and they're bringing their local scene
Right.
with them. So you got to, you know, with this whole idea of the New York sound or the East Coast sound, or what I call the boom bap sound, it is traveled out of New York, just the way your people have traveled into New York. These people have come and they brought their own sound and their own ways of doing things, and it's going to bring a different flavor to New York, so things are going to change, just like when Puerto Ricans came to New York and they mixed up with Black Americans, and Kool Herc Jamaican brought his thing and formed a whole new thing called hip-hop. So that's what when people talk about like, oh, New York ain't the same, it never stays the same, because New York is a place where people come in and transition to other places. So it is what it is. It's going to move forward, and you just either move with it or get out the way.
Right.
1, 2. Straight from uptown.
What?
The mighty boogie down. Division X in the, I say the boys from the Bronx is in the house, so the party gonna rock without a doubt. Division X definitely is in the house, so the party gonna rock without a doubt. I say the boys from the Bronx is in the house, so the party gonna rock without a doubt. Division X definitely is in the house, so the party gonna rock without a doubt. Ayo, I represent the coming of a brand new age. But these grumpy ass suckers stay stuck in their ways. Man, the only thing I miss about back in the days is when whack ass rappers got thrown off stage. I'm the next evolution of Kaz and Mel. I'm the next evolution of Raising Hell. Rock him, LL, Nas, BDP, Tupac, Big Daddy J, and B.I.G. It's the legend in the making, cause my thoughts provoke. Call me seed of corruption, giving brand new hope. Still moving too fast for dick riding folks. So 20 years later, it's my rhymes you quote. See, I represent the struggle and the voice of pain. So I'm channeling the spirit of a runaway slave. I'm the hunger of a dude making minimum wage. Mr. Hard Knock Rocker on the top of my grave. Yes, the boys from the Bronx is in the house. So the party gonna rock without a doubt. Division X definitely is in the house. So the party's gonna rock without a doubt. I say the boys from the Bronx is in the house. So the party's gonna rock without a doubt. Division X definitely is in the house. So the party's gonna rock without a doubt. I'm not a sanitized artist coming squeaky and clean. Get my fingernails dirty when I plant my seed. The elimination process, a brand new breed. See me coming out swinging just to buckle your knees. It's the spirit of the maker manifested in flesh. Y'all can smell my aroma from the flames of my breath. Just a soldier for the ghetto till I got nothing left. Ain't no hanging up my spurs, I'm in it to death. I was born on the street, caught no way out. Saw the devil on the road, so I changed my route. Now my voice stays ringing from north to south. Took the whole East Coast and gave it mouth to mouth. It's the certified champ that was born to win. Yeah, I can see me at my best when the odds are grim. Yeah, the source of the shit, about to do it again. Got rhymes so sick that I write them in phlegm. Yes, the boy from the Bronx is in the house. So the party gonna rock without a doubt. Division X definitely is in the house. So the party gonna rock without a doubt. Yes, the boys from the Bronx is in the house. So the party gonna rock without a doubt. Division X definitely is in the house. So the party gonna rock without a doubt. 1, 2. We're gonna take this back to 1982. Planet Rock Party. Hands in the air right now. Come on, put your hands in the air right now. Put your hands in the air right now. Put your hands in the air right now. It's a celebration. It's a celebration. It's inspiration. This is inspiration for a celebration. For a celebration. For a celebration. For a celebration. We came to get down. 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 Come on. Looking back at my time and my legacy, nothing but love and a life full of memories. Lord, I atone for all of my penalties. Blame it on you, rambunctious energy. Feeling so blessed that my health, my mind clear, one with the earth, living life without no fear. Saying I shade for those who couldn't be here. Seeing each breath like a first new year. Time on your clock, nothing but a mystery. Life is too short, no time for misery. Frozen in time with those that have history. When you got love, every day is a victory. Never been perfect in my life in a 10. With my true friends, I don't have to pretend. One never knows when it all may end. So I hug everyone like I might never see them again. So put your hands in the air right now. Put your hands in the air right now. Come on. Put your hands in the air right now. Come on. Put your hands in the air right now. It's a celebration. It's a celebration. This is inspiration. This is inspiration. This is elevation. This is elevation. For a celebration. For a celebration. We came to get down. 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 Come on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is East Coast. With them bounce, y'all. Who said the East Coast can't bounce, y'all? Who said the East Coast can't bounce? Come on. What you riding for? What you riding for? What you riding for? What you riding for? What y'all riding for? What you 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 riding for? What y'all riding for? What you riding for? What you riding for? I speak the language of the people who don't lost the trail, who run around like a dog biting out his tail. The underbelly that be running in and out of jail, and all my people that be knowing that the system failed. The generation that they thought they'd be moving up, Graduated, educated, but they still stuck. To leave the ghetto always seems just within your clutch. But yet it's something that we all never seem to touch. For all my people getting money for a college course, y'all join the army, now y'all fighting in the fucking wars. Mercenaries taking bullets to the forehead. Y'all could've done that on the block with your own friends. And to my people from the hood who done lost hope, who know that politics ain't nothing but a damn joke. They rather die than to give away a fake vote. Cause it ain't changing our position on the tightrope. What y'all riding for? What y'all riding for? I watch you people, what y'all riding for? What y'all riding for? What y'all riding for? What you 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 riding for?
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. I really appreciate you guys coming through, man. You know, the podcast, I'm sure, is nasty. Can you shout it out one more time?
Yeah, Rebels Without a Pause. You can find Rebels Without a Pause on Facebook and Instagram. Rebels Without a Pause podcast. So you have to type in the whole word, all the words.
All right.
Rebels Without a Pause podcast. Find it on IG, Facebook. And you can also look it up on, if you're looking to stream, you can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, Stitcher, or wherever you can find podcasts.
Cool. Any albums coming out or singles or anything like that they could check out?
Well, Warfare was a new single that just came out. In a couple of months, we're going to be on all the streaming services. That is goal for the next couple of months, to be on all our streaming services. Right now, you can get our music on Bandcamp.com. You go to Bandcamp.com and type in Division X, you'll find all our music, and we're definitely trying to get everything on the streaming services. That way you can go to Apple and all that stuff. The podcast is everywhere you go. Wherever you go for podcasts, you'll find Rebels Without a Pause.
Word up, man. These brothers right here, I want to thank them again, man. They came, showed up, did their thing. They were on time, professional. Division X, man. There's not much more I could say. Division X. Make sure you check them out.
Yeah.
This is Visual Caffeine bringing you that real hip-hop. Shout out to John Robinson. He had a show today. Otherwise, he'd be up here. But I guess I'm the second best to that. Shout out to John Robinson. Shout out to you guys, man. Thank you for making the travel down here. It was very, 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 very tight. And I appreciate it.
To the whole world, peace, love.
Yes.
And
Peace,
remember,
unity, and love.
That's
peace,
right.
unity, love, and having fun.
Real life for your eyes. Real life for your eyes.
Come on.
Real life for your eyes. Real life for your eyes.
Yes.
Check it. Yo. Rubber clock shadow in the hot beats battle. Got my hand on her.
Man, it gets no better.
The ignorant noise from my knuckleheaded boys. Wild pack holler.
Man, it gets no better.
Feeling like a man, taking care of your fam, putting money in they.
Man, it gets no better.
A wife in the crib, growing old with your kids. That's the best way to.
Man, it gets
A
no
prayer falls
better.
from my lips as I rise from the numbers. Ultimate praise for my gifts in abundance. Ways before down is recognized by the hundreds. So I give thanks once I see another sunset. One life to give, no spares for replacement. Precious is the time, the day is never wasted. Sometimes I floss just to see what I tasted. Yet I stay grounded like I'm stuck in the basement. Gotta thank Mars cause she gave me perspective. Tried to be God but never pull on perfection. Measure of a man, the way he's respected. Money ain't nothing, if it hurts to collect it. Walking on a path full of wrath, some mistakes will be made. A treacherous road, that's your debt to be paid. Appreciate life and it'll show you the way. Why I still smile at the end of the day. It's the 12 o'clock shadow in the hot beat rattle. Got my hand on her.
Man, it gets no better.
The ignorant noise from my knuckleheaded boys. Wild back holler.
Man, it gets no better.
We're feeling like a man, taking care of your fam, putting money in there.
Man, it gets no better.
A wife in the crib, growing old with your kids. That's the best way to.
Man, it gets no better.
Yeah.